a pronounced reduction in subsidy expenditure during the first half of the current year. Chief Executive Officer of Mal Hospital Expansion Project. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum and welcome to PSM News in English with me, Inha Maroof. The government reports a pronounced reduction in subsidy expenditure during the first half of the year, reflecting a recalibration of fiscal priorities against the backdrop of a reinforced budgetary stance. Weekly Fiscal Development Bulletin issued by the Ministry of Finance and Planning says outlays for subsidies fell by 19% over the first 26 weeks of the current fiscal year. The report also underscores a positive fiscal balance with revenues exceeding expenditures as of 17th July. The government subsidy expenditure declined markedly, totaling $103.78 million during the reporting period, down from $136.23 million in the corresponding interval last year. Subsidies continue to represent the largest segment within a broader expenditure classification encompassing grants and contributions, which together amounted to $317.82 million this year, down from $337.19 million. Spending patterns across other fiscal components told a more varied story, with allocations to Asanda, the National Health Insurance Scheme, rising to $64.86 million, a 9.9% increase year-on-year. Grants distributed to local councils moved in the opposite direction, totaling $64.89 million this year, down from $77.83 million over the corresponding period in 2024. The bulletin's details point to a broader improvement in fiscal performance, with government expenditure totaling $1.26 billion and cumulative revenue, including foreign aid, rising to $1.33 billion, surpassing the $1.23 billion collected during the same period last year. Maldives Monetary Authority states the Maldives has registered a substantial increase in fish export in the first half of the current year, with exports rising by 43% compared with the same period in 2024. By the end of June, export receipts had reached $74.5 million, up from $52 million a year earlier, a surge chiefly driven by expanded export volumes. As fish exports continue to anchor the country's export portfolio, monthly value of fish exports throughout the 6-month period exhibited considerable variation. April recorded the highest value, totaling $18.2 million, followed by February, which recorded $13.3 million, March recorded $12.4 million, May recorded $11.2 million, June recorded $10.8 million, and January recorded $8.6 million. Revenue gains were closely paralleled by a 67% increase in export volume. Between January and June, the nation exported 44,877.7 metric tons of fish, compared with 26,850.8 metric tons in the same period last year. This rise in output reflects intensified domestic fishing activity across the country. Chief Executive Officer of Male Group of Hospitals, Ibrahim Abdul Razak Halim, says the government is planning to construct a new 10-story building as part of the Hurumale Hospital expansion project. Abdul Razak, speaking during PSM News Rajamia, the program, shared the development plans to develop the 4 hospitals under the group, including the Indira Gandhi Memorial Hospital, Dharmavanta Hospital, Hurumale Hospital, and Vilimale Hospital, serving hundreds of patients across the greater Male region every day. Part of the plan, according to CEO Abdul Razak, is to develop a new building on the vacant plot adjacent to the Hulumale Hospital, adding that the budget for the 10-story building with fully equipped 250 beds and private rooms is being drawn up in collaboration with the Ministry of Finance and Planning, the Ministry of Health and the Ministry of Construction, Housing and Infrastructure. He also said in addition, a new 28-bed ward is being developed at the Hulumale Hospital, adding that the project is scheduled to be completed before the end of the year. Sharing the latest update on the Willimale Hospital project, Abdul Razak said efforts to relocate the Willimale Hospital services to the former children's shelter building to make way for the construction of a new state-of-the-art hospital building is already underway. The hospital, which will be developed with the grant assistance of the Chinese government, has been divided across 2 buildings. There will also be special beds for outpatient, inpatient, emergency, diagnostic, ICU, and hemodialysis treatment. Abdul Razak expects the project to get off the ground later this year or early next year. According to Abdul Razak, the group has, during the past 18 months, significantly boosted the human resource capacity across the 4 hospitals in the Greater Male region. He said to complement the vision to expand quality service and develop infrastructure, the government has attached special emphasis to enhancing the human resource capacity of the health sector. IGMH and Dharmavanta Hospital currently provides 32 specialist services. And according to Abdul Razak, the primary aim of Mala City Group of Hospitals is to ultimately reduce the need to travel abroad to seek medical care. The Ministry of Transport and Civil Aviation announces that free transportation will soon be provided to patients traveling on the public ferry network to seek medical care. The Raja Transport Link service, now operational in its 11th atoll, is designed to provide affordable and reliable transportation for more than 12,000 residents across 13 inhabited islands. People with special needs and the elderly are able to travel free of charge through the RTL service. Deputy Minister of Transport and Civil Aviation Ibrahim Yasir, speaking on PSM News' Rajya Miyadu program, said the government is refining the public ferry service in line with public opinion and needs of the community. Yasir revealed that the government is planning to offer free travel for those who need to travel for regular treatment due to major and chronic illnesses on RTL, adding that the plan is being worked out in collaboration with the National Social Protection Agency and the Maldives Transport and Contracting Company Limited. The national rollout of the RTL network is being carried out in phases, with the country divided into 6 geographic zones to support systematic implementation. According to the Economic Impact Survey conducted in 2023 on RTL services in Zone 1, 83% people in the region are using the network, while 93% of users are satisfied with the service. The study showed that the public saves $6.5 million annually on transportation after the introduction of the low-cost ferry network. The government has reaffirmed its commitment to extending the RTL service to all remaining atolls before the end of the calendar year. One of the 2 nominations of the Judicial Service Commission to the country's High Court, Mohammad Shahid, withdraws to uphold judicial integrity following mounting criticism over his nomination. One of the 2 nominations of the Judicial Service Commission to the country's High Court, Mohammad Shahid, withdraws to uphold judicial integrity following mounting criticism over his nomination. Shahid, in a letter to JSC, asked the judicial watchdog to withdraw his nomination for the post of High Court judge as he wished to uphold the integrity of the First Appellate Court following question marks raised over his political affiliations to the ruling party People's National Congress. Shahid earned his bachelor in Sharia and law with honors from the Islamic University of the Maldives. He has worked as a lawyer for Honeywell Trading Company Private Limited and most recently served as a deputy minister at the Ministry of Homeland Security and Technology. In his letter, Shahid said he had resigned from the deputy minister's post to put his political career behind him and serve in the judiciary. He said despite meeting the criteria to serve as a High Court judge, the decision to withdraw his nomination is to avoid further controversy to uphold the integrity of the judiciary. Shahid's withdrawal came after the JSC had scheduled his swearing-in for later on 3rd August. The two seats in the High Court bench became vacant following the appointment of former High Court judges Abdullah Hamid and Muhammad Salim as Supreme Court judges. The High Court has 11 judges in total. A leading Pakistani textile exporter hails the 19% US tariff, saying it was a major drop from 29% to 19%, but cautioned against the high prices of utilities in Pakistan. Pakistan, which exported about $4.1 billion worth of apparel to the United States in the 2024 fiscal year, secured a tariff rate of 19%, but industry figures were cautious about the immediate impact. Liberty Mills Limited is one of the biggest exporters in Pakistan. The whole production is exported directly and indirectly to customers, which include vendors of internationally recognized brands, department stores, and mail order firms. The products are apparel, healthcare, textile, and home textile.
So it's quite a major drop from 29% to 19% from Pakistan. And first of all, I want to commend the government of Pakistan for the efforts that they've made to achieve this major milestone. I think 19% puts us in the range of being amongst the most competitive tariffs for trading partners with the US. However, if we notice, most of the major trading partners in the Southeast Asia region now are in a similar price range. So whether it's Bangladesh or Vietnam or Cambodia, they're all between now 19 and 20%.
Bangladesh has negotiated a 20% tariff on exports to the US, down from the 37% initially proposed by US President Donald Trump, bringing relief to exporters in the world's second largest garment supplier. The new rate is in line with those offered to other major apparel exporting countries such as Sri Lanka, Vietnam, Pakistan, and Indonesia. India, which failed to reach a comprehensive agreement with Washington, will face a steeper 25% tariff. Trump put steep tariffs on exports from dozens of trading partners, including Canada, Brazil, India, and Taiwan, ahead of a August 7th trade deal deadline. Elsewhere in South Asia, Sri Lanka also secured a 20% tariff rate from the US, which accounted for 40% of its apparel exports of $4.8 billion last year. The flow of natural gas from Azerbaijan to Syria through Turkish pipelines officially begins with Aleppo Thermal Power Station, set to help add substantial amounts of electricity to Syria's struggling grid. In the deal, Azerbaijan will export 1.2 billion cubic meters of gas annually to Syria from the BP-operated Shah Deniz gas field in the Azeri Caspian Sea. A senior official at Azeri state energy company SOCAR told Reuters on Saturday. SOCAR Vice President Elshad Nasirov was speaking in southern Turkey, close to the Syrian border, as Turkey and Azerbaijan launched natural gas exports to Syria. The launch was marked at a ceremony in the city of Kilis, attended by ministers and other officials from Azerbaijan, Turkey, Syria, and Qatar. Azerbaijan's economy minister Mikhail Jabarov said the project followed agreements in April and July between Azerbaijan President Ilham Aliyev and Syria's transitional president Ahmed al-Shara. Jabarov said gas would be transported through Turkish territory to Syria under a coordinated arrangement. Turkish Energy Minister Alparslan Bayatkar said deliveries were expected to reach around 6 million cubic meters per day, with potential to supply up to 2 BCM annually in the first phase. Bayraktar said the gas would be used to restart power plants in Syria with a combined capacity of 1,200 megawatts. Turkey, which supported rebel forces in Syria throughout the 13-year civil war that ended in December with the ousting of Bashar al-Assad, has become one of the new Syrian government's main foreign allies while positioning itself to be a major player in Syria's reconstruction. Syrian Energy Minister Mohammed al-Bashir said the gas supplies would support basic energy needs in areas affected by conflict. Dozens of trucks set out loaded with aid bound for Gaza from Egypt. Egypt's state-affiliated Al Qahira News TV said the two fuel trucks carrying 107 tons of diesel were set to enter Gaza months after Israel restricted the entry of goods and aid into the Gaza Strip. The enclave's health ministry has said fuel shortages were hindering the operation of hospitals. There was no immediate confirmation whether the trucks had entered Gaza. Several trucks loaded with aid bound for Gaza were also seen crossing Egypt's Rafah border after Israel eased its blockade on the Palestinian territory. Israel on July 27th announced a halt in military operations for 10 hours a day in parts of Gaza and new aid corridors as Jordan and the United Arab Emirates airdropped supplies into the enclave. The military said designated secure routes for convoys delivering food and medicine will also be in place between 6 a.m. and 11 p.m., starting from July 27th. Israel cut off aid to Gaza from the start of March. It claimed to pressure Hamas into giving up dozens of hostages it still holds, and reopened aid distribution with new restrictions in May. Tourists in Japan's ancient city of Kyoto battled sweltering temperatures as a heat wave continues to grip the region. Umbrellas, handheld electric fans, and ice cream were amongst the cooling tools seen in the hands of tourists who chose to brave the hot streets of Japan's former imperial capital, with temperatures hitting a high of just over 38 degrees Celsius, 100 Fahrenheit, according to Japan's meteorological agency. Despite the almost ubiquitous presence of fans emitting cooling mists and vending machines selling cold drinks, Anna Kreminska-Kaczynska, who hails from Krakow, said it's been a really challenging experience.
I expected that it's going to be hot. I've been to India, and other places in Asia, so I have the understanding of this heat, but this experience is really amazing in a sense that I am sweating from top down every single day. I need to drink a lot of water not to dehydrate. I put a lot of sunscreen as well, okay, even though it's not bad, even with my white skin, but it's really challenging.
Japan's meteorological agency issued a heat advisory for Kyoto via its official website on Sunday, reminding city-goers to take appropriate action and stay hydrated to avoid heat stroke. Kyoto itself hit a staggering 40 degrees Celsius, 104 Fahrenheit on July 30th, while the country's hottest temperature on record, 41.2 degrees Celsius, 106.2 Fahrenheit, was observed in Tamba city of Western Hyogo Prefecture on the same day, meteorological authorities reported. Double World Rally champion Kalle Rovanperä is heading for a first home victory in Finland, with his Rampat Toyota team ending the penultimate leg with their cars in the top 5 places. Rovanperä stretched his lead from 4.9 seconds overnight to 36.1 over teammate Takamoto Katsuta, with 8 times world champion Sebastian Ogier 3rd, Elfyn Evans 4th, and Sami Pajari 5th. Britton Evans looks set to take over at the top of the championship after Hyundai's Ott Tanak, who led by 1 point, was handed a 5-minute penalty and dropped to 14th. Hyundai had a miserable day with reigning champion Thierry Neuville second overnight and Adrian Fourmont suffering punctures that sent them plunging down the order to 6th and 7th respectively. Neuville said it was now just a question of getting as many points as possible. On a soccer pitch in Beijing, T1 is practicing shots and taking up positions. T1 is no ordinary player, however, but a gold medal winning humanoid robot training for the first World Humanoid Robot Games taking place in Beijing from August 15. T1 is part of a race to lead the lead in humanoid robotics as China looks to become more self-sufficient in advanced technologies. The Games will bring together teams from more than 20 countries for events ranging from track and field to dance and martial arts, as well as practical applications such as industrial handling and medical services. T1 and its two teammates, fielded by Tsinghua University's Hephaestus team, made history for China last month by winning gold in the humanoid adult size category of the 28-year-old RoboCup Humanoid League in Brazil. Chief scientist at Booster Robotics, maker of the T1 to advanced technology, Xiao Mingguo, said the Chinese government is actively promoting humanoid robot development. According to him, the government is actively organizing competitive events, and this sports game is one such experience. While some may dismiss such events as gimmicks, industry experts and participants see them as a decisive spur to advance humanoid robots toward practical real-world deployment. Although the Hephaestus team would hardly trouble even junior human opposition, Booster Robotics views soccer as a powerful test of perception, decision-making, and control technologies that could later be applied in factories or homes. And just as in real life, moving on from the training ground is often a challenge. Hephaestus is building on software developed for Brazil to improve the players' positioning skills. But the performance of humanoid robotics still depends to a great extent on environmental variables such as the surface and the hardness of the ground and the gradient of any slopes, according to Hephaestus's Chen Penghui. It wouldn't be the first time a soccer team had visited a new venue and bemoaned the state of the pitch. And that's all we have for now. Thank you for watching. I wish you all a pleasant day ahead.